Alright, I'm here to do Altered Beast again, and I wanted to say, before I start really hitting it on this game, I'm going to talk about it for a little bit. I'm going to repeat a lot of the stuff that I said on my previous stream. I don't think a single person on Earth saw that besides myself, so that doesn't matter anyway, and I do want to have it on the record. Because this is something that comes up a lot. Altered Beast was a terrible game. Altered Beast was a terrible pack-in. No one wanted Altered Beast. Altered Beast is bad. I strongly disagree with that, and it sold me the Genesis. This scene that we just saw literally sold me the Genesis. Here's how that went down. So I had seen both the PC Engine and Mega Drive in a friend's copy of Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I was pretty stoked about new consoles coming out. This would be like the first new generation in my life besides the Nintendo. So it's, you know, Nintendo is what really got me into gaming. So that's like going to be a big deal, right? I was going to be an early adopter on this shit, and I wasn't waiting to see what Nintendo would do. I really wanted to see what the competition was up to. There were certain things about the Master System that I felt like I missed out on too, because I was a pretty big fan of Sega's arcade games. So arcade gaming was still a thing. It was the late 80s. It was very much a thing. And Sega were still a really big deal in the arcade. So this one time I went to a like rec center with my sisters, like a family fun center thing. Basically just an empty mini mall store. You know what I mean? There's just an emptied out, fluorescent lit, linoleum tile floored giant room that had some arcade games and some pool tables, and you know, it was just like any other pool hall really, except for it was for kids because it was fully lit. There was no smoking. This is in late 1988 or early 1989, I guess. So they had Altered Beast there, and I played it, and I thought it was awesome. I also thought it was really frustrating. It both pissed me off, and like I thought it was the coolest looking thing. So of course I was going to become obsessed with it because that's like the perfect formula. But like, even more than that game, they had another game that I'd never seen that I thought was the most awesome shit I'd ever played in my life. And that was Golden Axe. Golden Axe blew my mind. I was just like, this is the best beat 'em up hack and slash thing I've ever seen. You know, move over Bastion, move over Double Dragon. This is the shit right here. This is the game. This is the game. So I had really been planning on getting a Turbografx because I had heard, and my friend was insisting, the PC Engine was so much more popular in Japan. It was the cool thing to have. It was the one that had the bright future. Sega never really took off with their Master System. What makes you think they're going to take off with the Genesis, right? So I was kind of dead set on getting a Turbografx. I thought that Keith Courage looked really cool. I thought the games looked cool. I was really stoked about getting Vigilante at home because that was a game I really loved in the arcade too. And I played in a movie theater a lot. And you know, so I was pretty sure that's what I wanted to get, and I was excited to see that they had the Turbografx console up to look at in the Toys R Us. I went in Toys R Us and I had a glass display case and had a setup with the controller out and all that stuff, so you could see what the Turbografx-16 looked like. And they also had one for the Genesis. So there's one thing that struck me right away was that the Genesis looked like a more premium piece of hardware than the Turbografx-16, which looked more cheap and toy-like. But I didn't care. Still wanted the Turbografx-16, right? So we round the corner to the other aisle where the games are, and at the, just next to the end cap, there's a display going for the Sega Genesis. So it's another Genesis that's hooked up and running inside of a little glass case on a TV. No controls, you can't play it. It's running this, like what you're seeing right now. It's just running Altered Beast demo over and over again. And I stared at it in complete awe, and in that moment decided that I was getting a Sega Genesis instead of Turbografx-16, with the added bonus of thinking that I'd probably get Golden Axe shortly down the line, which also turned out to be true and very awesome. I was happy with the home version of Altered Beast, but I got really tired of it because it's a very short and very simple action game. That's not to say it's bad in any way. It's just maybe not it's not a beefy game, and pack-in games usually weren't. Super Mario World seems to be by far the most beefy, fully developed game of any pack-in games I can think of. Most are simple action games. But, yeah, so anyway, that's Altered Beast. I like this game. I've played it a lot. I used to be good at it. I'm not anymore. I discovered the last time I played through it that it does have a second loop and a third loop, etc. But, like, once you beat it, that's the new difficulty. Like, that's... So, like, if I beat this, and I will eventually here, then it'll be the second loop difficulty when it starts, of course, on the next round after the credit roll. But then after I die and I game over and I start a new game, it'll still be the second loop difficulty. And if I were to beat that, it would be the third loop difficulty, and every time I start it, it would be... And I want to say there's like 3 or 4 loops worth of difficulty. So you're actually just making the game harder every time you beat it, which is weird and kind of crappy from a scoring perspective, but I don't think I'm going to bother to like hard reset it every time just to have the easiest attempt at getting a high score. But yeah, it makes it harder and harder to get a high score as you play, so that's a weird and somewhat shitty choice from Sega. And it looks like I found the sweet spot on my first go here, which is always nice if you can. There's like a tiny space here where for an exact right pixel or two, you can just go and go without any fear of being hurt. And that actually works on all the difficulty loops, but because the heads come out so much faster on the higher difficulty, if you're wrong about where you are, it's much harder to fix.
Welcome to your doom.
But anyway, yeah, the idea that no one would want the Genesis because nobody cares about Altered Beast is not true for at least one person, I can tell you that. And I'm sure it's a lot more than one person, in fact. I just think that the mentality of like Nintendo nostalgic people who mostly played Mario, Zelda-ish type stuff, and the mentality of people who played shooters and beat 'em ups and like Sega and NEC stuff too, like, is very different. Like, we like very different games, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just its own thing, you know. So yeah, the Mario crowd's never gonna really like throw down for a whole bunch of Altered Beast, probably. And this is coming from somebody who likes Mario, but yeah, I have much more diverse taste than that. Does this work? It does not. Does this work? It does not. God, that's so hard to do. I've got to find the sweet spot for that, and I really haven't. Since I've come back to playing the game recently, it's just not been working out for me. Like, I don't know what to do there exactly. Oh yeah, and I forgot to explain the gameplay of this game too, I guess. I mean, obviously it's a little side-scrolling beat-em-up here, where you get power orbs, and once you get powered up each time, and on your third one you turn into an animal. It depends on what the level is. That's what determines the animal. The animal forms have special moves are slightly different. The levels consist of 3 segments. When you're in animal form, you fight the boss. If you're not in animal form, you move on to the next segment until you get to the end of the 3rd segment. Then it's boss time, regardless of whether or not you are human.
Welcome to your doom.
The arcade plays the same way. The main difference in difficulty between this and the arcade comes from the levels are actually a bit easier, of course, because the level layout and the number of enemies and such. It's more like playing this on a higher difficulty loop. Like this would be easier than probably the arcade's easiest setting. The bosses have these stupid exploits that make them super easy to kill. As you've seen, I've killed every boss with an exploit so far. Basically, I mean, just getting in their face and using some special move that they have no counter for. Excuse me. They don't work that way in the arcade game. In the arcade, they're hard, kind of. You have to use more wheel strategy that they intended. Like, for example, the first boss you're supposed to shoot at and then dash around to survive the heads, and then keep shooting at and dash around and shoot at and dash around. Like I said, you might see me doing that on the higher difficulty loops on this because it gets harder and harder for me to get in the correct place, and if you don't get into it right away, you're going to get hit a whole bunch. Trying to inch around instead of dashing. This boss you kind of use the intended strategy for regardless, and he's one of the least exploitable. And then the final boss they just made way easier than the arcade game because he can't punch you out of your dash, but he can still do the kick to knock you out of your dash, and he will occasionally. But otherwise you just shoot and dash on him, and he's really easy. Because you're a wolf again on the last level. They didn't come up. There's 5 levels, but they only came up with 4 different creatures. That wolf's a slightly different color, but it has no other differences as far as I know. It's more of a gold color though. It did give them an. That's another thing you'll notice, and this is true to the arcade game as well. They put in this really detailed, like, uses like 4 or 5 different frames of animation that it flickers between when you transform into a wolf. It's really cool, and it's one of the game's main gimmicks or draws that you see in the arcade. Yeah, they did that for the first level. All the other creatures, it just flickers between the face and the creature, and doesn't have any cool animation at all. So the one that looked good, they reused one time. It's just really, really cheap on memory there, even in the arcade. Other than that, the differences from the arcade game are pretty much as follows. There's way less gore. Enemies tend to just turn into orbs when you defeat them instead of breaking apart into body parts. There's a bunch of parallax added to the Genesis version, making it look less flat than the arcade game, and that's parallax in both the foreground and background. It looks significantly less flat than the arcade game. It has less color than the arcade game. The sprites are maybe a smidge smaller. I've talked about the difficulty differences. When you get to Neff, if he turns into the boss character, on the arcade version, he scales up to a much larger size sprite, and then the clouds come up and he turns into the boss. The scaling effect is missing on the Genesis. The boss's background fades to a grayscale in the arcade, while the foreground element sprites remain in color. It's a kind of neat palette effect. It's also missing on the Genesis. The sound quality for voices is about twice as good in the arcade game. I mean, in terms of like digital grit, it's not like good recording quality either way. Most other ports of this game are quite bad. I was jealous of the Master System having it for a while there, of course, but that version is really choppy because it uses tile animation for everything instead of sprites. So it's flicker free and has very large characters, but is very choppy. Runs at like, I don't know, like 12 frames a second or something. I think most of the home PC ports are pretty shitty. The PC Engine got a version that's playable, but not great in any way. Actually has more damage to the color than this version does, and there's no real excuse for that, since the PC Engine's color capabilities actually significantly outshine the Mega Drive and Genesis. There's a CD version of the PC Engine game. I assume it was just sold cheaper because it's literally just the HuCard game on a CD. It's not better in any way. It's actually just objectively worse because it adds load time to a game that didn't otherwise have it. It does not use CD sound. It uses the PC Engine same sound. So yeah. That's kind of a turd, and I would not recommend it. They didn't botch this game as badly on the PC Engine as they did Golden Axe, which is a complete failure and totally comical. Like they really botched that game, and that's a CD game too. That's so funny. This is such a cool looking boss. It's such a cool boss idea. It did feel off to me, especially at first playing it, with not having the black and white background. Like it somehow doesn't seem the same. Yep. You actually walk past that wall, and there's quite a bit more level there if you, for some reason, don't get all the orbs on the first go through. On second loop difficulty, that's more likely to happen. If anybody has any suggestions on what they'd like to see me play next, let me know. I'd probably switching up at some point during the stream. I'm sure I'd have more time to stream than I have patience for playing Altered Beast. Probably. Who knows? We'll see how into this Altered Beast I get. I'm having fun right now. But later on, I might switch over to... Here's some of my top contenders, though. Shadow Dancer on Sega Genesis. Ghouls and Ghosts on Sega Genesis, I guess. Legendary Axe on Turbografx. Splatterhouse on Turbografx. Vigilante on Turbografx. Actually, Vigilante might be the one that makes the most sense to pair with Altered Beast. Since it was the arcade game, it almost sold me a Turbografx. I did end up getting a Turbo Express at some point, though. Which I no longer have. I sold it to someone who understood that it needed to have its capacitors replaced. I just don't see the point in that now, though. My Medium Mini is all the Turbo Express I could ever want. A screen that's like 100 times better. Battery life that's like 10 times better. I mean, controls that are better. There's literally nothing worse about it. It's all just better, better, better across the board. So, yeah. I don't really see much use in using vintage handhelds when you can just get a modern handheld that craps all over it. Has all the features you need, like save states for games that don't have good save systems, like everything, you know, just everything you need all right there. You don't need EverDrives, you don't need fancy screen replacements, you don't need to install your own backlights or anything like that. Just get a Miu or get a Ambernic Flip or any of those things. Steam Deck. If portability is not all that important to you, you can get a Steam Deck or an Aya Neo or something like that. Is that what those things are called? A WinGP2 if you're old school. Yeah, there's tons of great replacements for handhelds nowadays. If you want to play Atari Lynx, I would not recommend getting Atari Lynx. Just get whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this one on one loop if I want to beat the game. I need that extra life. That enemy that I just defeated there is called Chicken Leg and reappears in Golden Axe. He's a creature that you can ride. Chicken Leg. God damn it. I knew that was going to happen. They were just going to screw me over. And if anyone's really concerned about what they're really seeing here, this is the latest build of Pico Drive for RetroArch running on a Windows 11 on an AMD Ryzen 7 APU. Yeah, we got just a little bit of grit right as I said that. Pico Drive usually does pretty good with the sound, but a lot of people use what's that other one called? Genesis Plus GX or whatever. It has better sound, I will admit that. And you won't notice a difference on most games. I have a lot of weird aspect ratio issues with it, which is the main reason why I don't use it. It's also way less cycle accurate though, so there's probably like lots of little things you can nitpick at that are wrong. That's why I just stick with Pico Drive. Also consistency. Pico Drive's available for like every build of RetroArch, not just Windows. Genesis Plus GX is on a lot of stuff, and it is what I was using on Wii there for a long time when I was playing Wii a lot, to use a CRT television. Unfortunately, my Wii's video capacitors, again, we're getting back to that topic, completely blown out, so I need a new Wii or to fix that one way or the other. But yeah, like most handheld devices and stuff that run Dengix or Android, you're going to be using Pico Drive, so it's a really good emulator. It supports everything and works great. The only more accurate one probably is Blastum, and Blastum is, I believe, a Windows-only thing, and higher system requirements, and no 32X or Sega CD. I don't even think it supports Master System or Game Gear or anything, so no backwards or forwards compatibility for Mega Drive. This is purely Mega Drive. I've never bothered with it, but I guess some people who really want their games as accurate as possible in ways that no normal human would notice. There's your option. Yeah, you get to see the final animal this time at least. And a new high score. That's what's really important. You'll even get to see the final boss kill me.
Welcome to your doom.
I just realized that this is the safer way to do it, and I should have always been doing this. Even though I get, less DPS in because I'm not dashing through them. Whew! I wonder if I could beat him just doing that. That's by far the best I've ever done on him. That's actually how you do it, though, if you don't want to take any damage. In fact, if you can really skill up to it, like jumping to where you could almost start to jump kick him in the head, but dashing to where just the bottom of your dash goes through the top of his head, you could probably hurt him and not get punched. Probably. It's mostly just the kick that knocks you down in this one anyway, so I think if you dash high enough to clear the kick, you might be safe.
Rise from your grave.
Why did the graves say Stella on them? I've always wondered that too. What is that supposed to be? Is that the daughter's name? And even if it is, why would they all say her name on them?
Power up.
Oh, great. Doing dumb shit. Gimme, gimme.
Power up.
Having weird problems I've never had before.
Welcome to your doom.
In fact, yeah, this is actually a much more fun and replayable game than Vigilante, which I should probably play just to demonstrate my point on that, too. I still think Vigilante would have made a better pack-end, probably, for the Turbografx, though, than Courage. It's much more visually impressive. It would have made it a much harder decision for like a lot of arcade gamers like myself, so I don't think NEC did a single thing right with their marketing, like ever, though, probably, in America. It's good hardware and had a good software lineup and still got its ass kicked. It's just rough, you know? Marketing is important. It's funny, too. People talk about how that Concord game bombed, like, all the time. I hear so much chatter about that on the internet, and they say it's for this or that because it was woke or because it was fucking, I don't know, generic or whatever. Even if some people point out the more realistic problem, which is that they were charging money for a type of game that's usually free. But the even bigger problem than that, which no one points out, I mean, I play battle royale shooters and competitive shooters with my friends online all the time, like almost, like let's say like 5 days a week, 4 days a week, something like that. I never fucking heard of Concord. Not even one time. Not even one time until it came out. Oh, also, I'm going to point out, I don't have YouTube Premium. And I'm a YouTuber who uses YouTube all the time. I don't have YouTube Premium, and I see tons of commercials, and I use YouTube almost exclusively for video game related stuff. And most of the ads I get are video game related. Never heard of Concord even once until it was already out. Until like it had already been out for about 2 days. Then I saw people talking shit about it online. I'm like, what is this? Supposedly they spent a ton of money making that game too. They did not spend it on marketing, I guess, though. Or they marketed it in a completely different market than I'm in. Like maybe like in China or something, but not here. I don't know. Because I never heard of it. And I do, you know, as annoying as advertising is, realistically, I feel like that's a good example of how important it is. Oh, did you see how I actually got the orb on the first go this time? I just aggressively like jump kicked the wolves, which I think is smart. I mean, obviously it's smart. I'm a life ahead, a life and a half ahead of where I normally am here. Hope I don't blow it. I think some old muscle memory from when I used to play the game a real long time ago is starting to come back to me. This was a lot of Sunday mornings for me. My parents would go to church, and at some point they stopped trying to make me. And I would play a lot of Altered Beast.
Welcome to your doom.
Can't believe I managed to not die there. I mean, I got close. Real close. I'm still doing a lot better. Score's a lot higher to reflect that. Oh, because I got that third level done in one loop, which makes a big difference. That makes a big old difference on your score. Kids, be sure to do that.
Power up. Power up.
God damn it. That's gonna be very bad. That's bad. Surely that's not my only shot here, though.
Welcome to your doom.
I did not do that well. Still though, new high score. I'll beat it soon here.
Rise from your grave. Power up. Power up. Welcome to your doom. Power up. Power up. Welcome to your doom.
Could be doing better on health, I suppose.
Power up.
Oh yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this more aggressive strategy that I use for getting that first. Oh shit, I'm doing all the wrong moves here though, like an idiot. There we go. I still made up for it, even though I lost a life, which is a bummer.
Welcome to your doom.
Maybe I'll do the arcade game of this someday too, just for shits and giggles, because it's something. It's way hard. It's a very hard little beat 'em up. It's the reason why this game is so short, is because they expect you to do multiple segments on most levels and be really frustrated, maybe even have to fight the boss as a human on a level or something, and just all around have a shit show of a time.
Power up. Power up. Welcome to your doom.
I'm actually down a couple units of life from where I was last go around, but I feel like my score's better, so I'm probably going to beat my old score. Let's see. I turned her into a bird. Anyway, that's the point of all that. Oh, shit.
Power up.
I may have been wrong, too. I may not beat it. I'm going to get wiped out pretty quick here. Let's see.
Power up.
It's always some fucking bullshit there. There's always some bullshit that happens. Oof. That's really frustrating. Those yellow guys exist only for the reason of having the kick up option. Just like the hammer guys on the previous level exist to show you not to do that ever at any other time. Nice, okay. Oh man. You guys see that fucking shit? Did you see that? Did you fucking see that? Did anyone see that? That's the most troll ass bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Secret guy off the screen, boom. Just so you don't see the last boss, boom. Yeah. Sure. Alright, here we go again.
Rise from your grave. Power up. Power up. Welcome to your doom.
Not great. I'm gonna take my dogs out after this one. I'll probably keep going on it for a little while, but I'd really like to beat it. I'm so close to being able to beat it. I feel sad that I can't beat Ultra Beast anymore. I did on the last stream of it. I just feel like I have to get back in the groove.
Power up. Power up. Welcome to your doom. Power up. Power up.
Just back up this one down to a science, don't I? This particular level. Started off so bad. That first part is frustrating though and easy to fuck up. Like it's easy to miss those wolves at the beginning. You've got to very aggressively jump kick all of them, or you have to find some perfect way to kick the last one from behind, which is also very hard.
Power up. Power up. Welcome to your doom.
I knew it was coming. God, I get screwed over every time somehow, don't I? It's not the same thing either. It's not the same thing screwing me over every time. But something wild happens there, and then I get screwed over and I lose the power up. Just some weird thing always goes down to cause me to not get the power up there. It feels very bullshit. Like, this time the wolf's kind of off, or this time, you know, it's always something. It's always some little thing. It sucks. God damn it. That's hard, too. That's hard as shit. There's not some special dude that you're hiding up in the... Oh, I think maybe there is. Did you get him? Okay. Really, really trying hard to trick me with that little thing, aren't they? Hell yeah. I was determined. Like, I gotta beat him this time. I really do. I'm not playing Altered Beast for the rest of my fucking life. That's the official win right there, even though it was 2 loops on the last level. When I come back, I might play a tiny bit more because I would like to see if I could beat it on 1 loop, but more importantly, I want to... Actually, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to just start it over right now to show you that it's on... I'm going to play through this life, and you'll see second loop difficulty, and I'll show you the difference. And then I'll start a new game, and you'll see that it's on second loop difficulty. I'll get my ass handed to me because it's on second loop difficulty. I'll load up a different game. You can look at the intro and watch that roll out while I take care of these dogs. Take them to go do their beast things. And then I'll return. Coordinate no nukes. A positive message for Altered Beast. So yeah, just almost an immediate ass whooping. You saw that like 10 million graves came out, right? That's the way it is now. That's the way the game is now because I beat it. Watch.
Rise from your grave.
I don't know the best way to do this. I just know that it ain't this. It ain't this. But anyone wanting to see what the second loop on the first level looks like, you're about to get to. Actually, I may die completely before then. Who knows? There we go.
Power up. Power up.
And you'll just walk away, and then we'll go on to the second loop, just like on the third level when I was having trouble.
Welcome to your doom.
So there's still a safe spot to fight from, even on the second difficulty loop. But it's much harder to find here because the background elements are misaligned due to me hitting the second loop of the first level. Second segment of the first level. It's kind of change where you fight the boss.
Power up.
Oh, also I think the Genesis was $10 cheaper than the Turbografx, which was just the icing on the cake. It was $189 instead of $199, if I remember correctly.
Power up.
Also, for what it's worth, I don't think that Keith Courage and Alpha Zones is a terrible game or anything. We'll play it at some point, but it's just, you know, it doesn't feel like much more than getting a Nintendo game, like something decent that you'd rent for your Nintendo. It doesn't really show off what the Turbografx is capable of, as well as a game like R-Type or Vigilante, or hell, a lot of those games are just much more impressive, you know. Legendary Axe. I actually think Legendary Axe might have been the best game they could have used for a package because it was the best launch title. But I think it was a launch title. Am I wrong about that? I don't know. It's a really good looking and good playing game though, and it's definitely one I'm going to stream. This is one I considered playing today. But I think I'm going to go with Vigilante because I've talked about it a lot and I think it's relevant. I think Vigilante is coming up a lot for a reason, and it's because this is the arcade game that got me to buy the Genesis, but that's the arcade game that made me want to buy a Turbografx, kind of. So, and I kind of liked it better as an arcade game than the Altered Beast arcade game, which was just so obscenely hard, you know. Playing Vigilante, I felt comfortable because I was just like, this is Kung Fu Master. I know this. I know Kung Fu. I play Kung Fu all the time, you know. Whereas this is a very strange game. It doesn't have anything I can directly compare it to other than other Altered Beast games. And there's really only two other Altered Beast games that are 2D side-scrolling games. There's the Famicom port, and yeah, I consider it a different game because it has extra levels, it plays different, has different creatures you can turn into on the extra levels and stuff. It's a whole remix of Altered Beast. It's not a great game, but it's something. It's whatever. Kind of has that same vibe as the Saturn version of Virtua Racing. There sure is a whole lot more of it, but it isn't a very good take on it. I don't hate the Saturn Virtua Racing as much as most people, though, so we'll talk about that at some point too. And then the other 2D Altered Beast game is on the Game Boy Advance. I haven't played much of it, but it's pretty weird that there's another Altered Beast game like that. I think it was to tie in with the PS2 game that was coming out around the same time, but that PS2 game sucked and never came to the US, is my understanding. So, hang on just a second here, though. I gotta get some box art for Vigilante, and then I'm gonna fire it up, and then I'm gonna take a break while you watch it roll its demo loop and all that business. So, hang on just a second here, and I'll just let this roll out and find the art. Which is funny that I'm downloading the art for this game because I own this game. This is the only PC engine, or the only Turbografx-16 game I own that I do not have the box for. I mean, that I do not even have the jewel case for, is what I'm really trying to say. So yeah, that's kind of a shame. I keep it in my Keith Courage jewel case. Here it is, though.
Power up. Power up.
Oops. Let's cover up this nastiness while I switch the game over. Alright, let me do my magic here. Alright, Vigilante. Enjoy watching some Vigilante while I take a little break, take care of my dogs, go to the bathroom, get a drink, all that business. And after the business time, it'll be Vigilante time. Because I think if there's a message we all need right now, it's Vigilante time. Anyway, I'll be right back. Alright, my glasses have not transitioned back from sunglasses state, but regardless, wearing my sunglasses indoors, let's go ahead and play some Vigilante, and you can watch them slowly fade back to being clear. This game's basically Kung Fu. Plays like Kung Fu, looks like Double Dragon. And I loved it. It's kind of a spiritual successor, not a direct sequel. Spartan X does have a direct sequel on the Famicom, but that's a different game. Really. And the Game Boy version could also maybe be seen as another actual sequel in that series, but this is just very familiar gameplay-wise. From the same developer, Iron. And yeah, this is a big Turbofire game, as you can see. Turbofire is the easiest way to go on a lot of this stuff. That being said, the combat actually does get really interesting in a few parts. I don't know, like, some of it's cheap exploits, like the boss in this level, I'll just corner against the van and rapid fire punch or hopefully nunchuck him in the face until he's dead. Other stuff, though, takes a little more effort, like this guy I'm fighting right now, for example. He's going to send me back about 2 screens, and is incredibly dangerous, and he killed me in 2 hits. Yeah, just a really tough all-around character. I probably would have done best just ignoring him. I probably should have just moved on, but that is a hard lesson learned. Okay. Yeah, this guy, I think, yeah, you just corner him and kick him in the face is what it is, and you just rapid fire kick him until he's up against the van, and you just kick the shit out of him and you win. But there's that, like, the next level boss is, it's 2 guys, and you have to fight him, and it's pretty tricky. Like, you really have to put some effort into it. Unless you know something I don't. Lame as hell to die on that first level, though. I think this game does give you continues. I don't know that I will use anything like that, though. It may not. I don't know. It's more of a memorize what to do kind of game, again. Like Altered Beast. I think this is a fair comparison. And if for whatever reason Legendary Axe couldn't be the pack-in, this is probably what they should have went with. I think maybe it couldn't have been, though. I think maybe it wasn't a launch title, but a first wave title. That's hard as shit. Yeah, I guess I'll continue. So yeah, there's a little bit of game physics you gotta learn in this one, that like jump kicking guys pushes you back like that, as opposed to jump punching, which doesn't push enemies back. And they're very slow to fight, aren't they? Now it's even slower. Nice. See, that's a pretty tough fight. In the arcade version, her fingers come through the bars and then it drives away at the end of every level. So that's a missing animation on Turbografx. But this was so close to Arcade Perfect, I didn't really notice. I really just felt like I was just playing the arcade game. About what the arcade game looks like. I think this game also only has 5 levels. And the 4th one just has an ugly brown background. But most of it looks really cool. This sucks balls. Mostly just jump kicking him, I guess, is the thing. Defensively, this is the smartest thing to do. It may not be the fastest way to kill him. Not slow, though. Interesting that they sent a regular enemy after me when he died. Yeah, this is the kind of ugly level I was describing earlier. They're sending them fast now. It's hard to get through screens when the enemies spawn this quickly. Wow, okay. They give you unlimited continues in this game? Because if they do, that's pretty boring. Oh yeah, I think I remember the deal with this too, is that it doesn't really have a high score table, and when you beat the game, it just starts over again. It doesn't even just start over again; it just ends. So like all you can do is a new game with a new score. And really the only way to get a higher score is to get the levels faster. So that's really I guess the main challenge if you're playing for score. Or 1 credit, which is probably very challenging. You saw that I didn't make it very far. Man, fucking those balls. Oh shit. This guy sucks. I don't understand how to do this. Jump kicks, it looks like maybe I'm my best bet. Jesus, that's awful though. And there's game over. So there are a limit on credits. I could just have to do better, I guess. This might take me a little bit of a run. A lot of damage. There you go. And that's how the pros do it. Oh, it does keep a high score though. That's actually cool. was that? Oh man, I forgot that enemies respawn. Holy shit, how did I forget that? I was like, I can't believe we gotta walk all the way out of this level. Oh, 2 in a row now. Okay. You get special powers because I was about to take you out. Okay. Cool. Why don't you just do that all the time? Why don't you just fire your gun continuously since there's apparently no downtime? Ooh, what was that? Some new thing I've suffered that never existed before. That sucks too. I hate fighting these fucking dudes. God damn it! God damn it! Man, those guys are so cheap. There's never been a pair of nunchucks that didn't have a fucking multi-hit dude skating around on top of it. It just doesn't happen. There's some weird trick you can do with this guy where you bat all of his fucking dynamite back at him or something. If there is, I don't know how it works. He doesn't play that game for very long anyway. He just jumps down here and becomes one of these dudes instead. Just like the one on the last level. Not a particularly hard boss with a combination of turbo kicking and jumping a whole bunch. I feel like I did worse in this level than last time though, so I don't know. So yeah, this is my only loose hue card. The PC engine art for this is way better, by the way. Just a woman's face with a hand with a knife in front of it. Oh god. No matter how well you jump there, this happens. Did I discover something about this asshole? I think maybe I just did. Maybe not. It's hard to say. There we go. I saved her. So what else from 1989 did we play then? I talked about Keith Courage and Alpha Zones a bit, so I could fire that up for a little while. Wouldn't play through the whole thing or anything. It's an extremely repetitive game anyway. It's much longer than this other stuff. It's probably like an hour or two to get through normally, if you're good at it, and probably even much longer than that if you're not. But it has 2 level setups. One where you do it's much more slow paced and more like a Mario style platformer. You got a little sword that you poke enemies with. You earn money there and you can buy upgrades and stuff. And then when you get to the end of the level, you power up into your mech suit, and that's when you do the action level, which is faster paced. Has these generic cave backgrounds and much cooler looking enemies in those places. And it's just those 2 level motifs over and over and over again. So it's not anything particularly special. It's either a very easy game when I get the swing of it, or a very hard game until I do. It's one of those kind of games. So, I don't know. I'm gonna let this. You know what? Take another crack at this for a couple times, and we'll take a short break, and we'll find something to play. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, though. I don't know if I'm going to do Keith Courage. Some other stuff I've been considering: Shadow Dancer on Genesis and Sector X on Genesis. You know, I don't necessarily know if I want to jump right into a shooter again. I've done so many. There's probably some arcade stuff that I'd always enjoy doing. I don't know. Let's play this again, though, real quick. So they have PSP games on the PlayStation 4 and 5, or at least the 5 now. I've been looking into getting the Ridge Racer sequel that way. My wife had noticed that the Loco Roco games were available, so she's thinking about those. But it's pretty cool to be able to... There's some good stuff on the PSP. We can definitely start doing more PSP streams as well, just to see some of the things we've overlooked. Ah, the pee-pee room. That's another famous location from this game. So now you're seeing me do like a perfect run on the first level. That's pretty cool, right? The green guy is much more aggressive, so it makes sense to go after him more first. I'm only getting better at this shit. This game actually might be fun for some 1 credit attempt and 1 credit scoring attempt. You'd probably get to where you could 1cc the game after not too long, and then it would just be a matter of how fast you can do it to get as high of a score as you can. Maybe not a challenging enough game in a lot of ways. I feel like Kung Fu on NES provides a better, more consistent challenge where it slowly ramps up the difficulty with each loop, and that it benefits a great deal by having loops. This game's lack of loops really hurts it. Like, this game needs loops more than almost anything. It needs it as badly as Altered Beast does, but Altered Beast fucking has them. That's the thing. He's trying so hard to do his little jump, and I'm fucking up his timing for it, I think. He may not ever get to. Yeah, I finally did. Finally kicked my fucking nunchucks away. You fucking turd. So if I soft reset it, does it erase the score? Let's see here. Does it erase the score? Yes, it does. So if you're gonna go for a 1 credit thing, that's what you do. Still having a little bit of fun with this, getting better at it. I'd rate this game about the same as Altered Beast at the end of the day. I actually like Altered Beast better. Maybe that's nostalgia, maybe it's whatever. But they're both 7s in my opinion. They're both fun little action games that play great. They're fun. I don't know. Good graphics, look like they're arcade games that they're based off of. This game, they both got fairly impressive Master System ports, even though the Altered Beast one's not terribly playable. The thing about Vigilante on the Master System, it looks really, really good, and it's a great port, just like R-Type was. But the Master System's controller is what you would call a piece of shit. I'm sorry if you're a fan. I'm not, never will be. But the people who made it, who did the port, I think maybe Sega handled the port, I don't know. They recognized the fact that that controller is terrible, and that you're going to accidentally hit up all the time, and you're going to jump a bunch of times when you don't want to, and it's going to suck ass. They knew that that would happen. So they made it to where both attack buttons together is to jump instead of pressing up. And that takes some getting used to. It is also a deeply flawed game. Like once you learn how to play it, that was demonstrated by Engelbart. I don't know if I hate that game as much as he does, but I don't. I think it's really impressive looking, and I don't like to play it or whatever. You know, like I feel like it looks like Vigilante, at least on the first level. 'Cause that's about all I ever play of it, and then I'm like, yeah, you know. But yeah, it's not something I'd really want to play. Sort of like Ultra Beast on the Master System, not something I'd really want to play. Not very much of. This is very Double Dragon sounding music. Sounds stolen from like a Double Dragon game or something. Play through the whole damn level again, but that's alright. Not doing great on time either. Now I am, though. Now I'm doing great on time. Brutal. Brutal, 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 brutal. Man, that guy's a fucking dick. Man, that guy sucks. Couldn't even beat the default high score. Brutal. Jesus Christ. I was fully expecting to make it to the third level again, and that did not happen. Oh shit. Playing so poorly, I'm just gonna start over. I hit the wrong button at the beginning. There we go. Now I'm in the ass beating zone. I should have gotten there earlier. Really lost a bit of points off of that. Those few grabs really really devalued the attempt here. To move is to jump kick. To jump kick is to move. So much better that time. That's crazy. Nice. Way to go, asshole. You still haven't rescued Madonna. The fucked up thing is that my score is going to be better if I die because of both the time and the health. But I won't get as far. No, I have little choice in the matter, so there it goes. I am going to reap the benefit of a higher score and a higher health bar for a bigger bonus here at the end. Oh, pull yourself up, I forgot. Oh shit. You want to jump kick him when his leg is back. That's when you have an opportunity. Yeah, I almost 1CC'd the game. Interesting. Let's switch it up for something different. What the? What should I play? It's a great question. Do we want to stay in the year of 1989? Is that like a constraint that I want to maintain? I'm trying to think of what other early Turbografx games would be worth looking at. Maybe I should stick with the theme of 2D beat 'em ups. Maybe that's where the money is. Well, on that note, what do we have? Old beat 'em up or hack and slash type crap. I know another great Turbografx-16 game we can play for a minute. It'll be fun. It actually was. This is relevant in a way too because let me find out what year this game was made. It's probably 90 or 91. This game is actually what convinced me to get the Turbo Express because I was like, man, there's so many cool games on there now in the TurboGrafx, and I'd love to have a cool handheld that's color and stuff that has like can play like real games. And eventually I get the TurboGrafx, and then I can go between the two, switch style. Um, I really don't trust Wikipedia's years on games, by the way. They have this listed as 1988 as a North American release. I'm going to have to get like a Wikipedia account to set people straight. Because you can click the TurboGrafx link to go to the TurboGrafx article on the same page and see that the TurboGrafx was released in America at the end of 1989. Why the fuck would they be putting out games for it at the beginning of 88 if the system didn't come out until the end of 89? It's horseshit. This game was a launch title. It came out at the end of 89. Anyway, yeah, this one has Splatterhouse as being in America in 1989. I really don't think so. It looks like it's going to be 90. And yeah, I didn't want that game though because of the arcade version of Splatterhouse. I was almost unaware that the arcade version of Splatterhouse existed, or maybe completely unaware. Yeah, it was not something that was on my radar, and I have to date never seen, not even once in my life, a Splatterhouse arcade machine. So, anyway, the original Splatterhouse is getting ported to the Mega Drive though, and it looks really good. And that'll be cool because it'll then you'll have the whole trilogy on one system kind of thing, 2 and 3 were Mega Drive and Genesis exclusives. But yeah, this was one of the first games I got. This Bonk's Adventure, and then I ended up getting Legendary Axe. I really wanted Devil's Crush, but could never find it. I really wanted Blazing Lasers, but by that point I was starting to have problems with the video cat. The video cat problem in my Turbo Express isn't a modern issue. It's something that happened to me when I was a kid. Like, it happened within like a year of having the thing. Not a great piece of hardware. I'm almost surprised I've never streamed this game before. Really. Alright, Splatterhouse it is. I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'll be right back after I have some snacks and then we'll splatter these houses. This is a fun game too. Had a lot of fun with the classic 16-bit action whatever today. Side-scrolling, beat 'em up, punch and kick nonsense. Thanks for watching. Alright, I'm back. So, my history with this game is that I had started really wanting a Turbografx-16 to go along with my Genesis before the Super Nintendo even came out, because I love video games. I wanted a new portable handheld, saw that the Turbo Express was going to be a thing, figured I'd do that first, and then, if I built up a Turbo library and wanted to play them on my TV too, I could either take them over to a friend's house, because I had friends who had I had two friends who had Turbografx-16s, and I could play them there, and we could trade games, and I could play them on my handheld, and eventually maybe I'd get a Turbo also, but I wanted the handheld first. So I got the Turbo Express, I got Bonk's Adventure, and I got this game. I'd seen both Bonks and this game running on demos at this electronics store at the mall. I think that's where my dad probably ended up getting the Turbo also. I don't think it was a Radio Shack. It was mostly like focused on selling TVs, so I don't know what that would be. But it was kind of higher end stuff, sort of. This game was running on a big screen TV, actually, what would have been considered a big screen TV back then. So not like a 36-inch tube, but like a real big screen, like a 48-inch or something, rear projection screen. And rear projection screens, by the way, are not good to play these kinds of games on because of burn-in. And this game has a bunch of static HUD elements, so it does make me wonder how that TV fared if they left it running like that all day, every day. But so yeah, I was really happy with this game. It plays like it looks like. It's pretty fun. It is definitely in the same kind of thing as the last two games I played today. It's walk to the right and punch things. A bit of the intro is missing from the arcade game, but again, I didn't know that there even was an arcade game. Also, they changed the face mask from white to red in the USA. I didn't know anything about that either. This was a fairly controversial game, though, because it was like very graphic horror game before that was really a thing. Keep in mind, like, blood controversies with games like Mortal Kombat and stuff are still a few years away. So this was a pretty wild game. But since it was on a less popular system that was mostly purchased by older arcade game enthusiasts, no one really cared either. You know what I mean? If it had been on the Nintendo, I think there would have been a lot more attention to it. The Famicom in Japan actually did receive its own Splatterhouse game, but they made it all cute and funny. It's like a spin-off. It's a pretty good game too. Frustrating to me though, much more so than this game is frustrating. I think it has something to do with me being bad at platformers. Oh shit. I thought I could just stand over here and punch, and that always worked. I'm a little surprised at how this is all going down. I don't know if I'll beat this. It's very beatable. I've beaten it many times. It's a bit like the other two games. It takes a little bit of practice and then you're good enough to beat it. But maybe it takes just a little bit more, but not too much more. It's a bit longer, but it's not a long game. Yeah. That's about all I can say about Splatterhouse, other than you're looking at it. Oh, and it has a sequel on the Genesis that's even harder than this, and it's a good game. It plays the same. And then that has another sequel on the Genesis, which is a very different game, where it's like a traditional like isometric style beat 'em up, like just a regular beat 'em up, but it's set in this house where you have to navigate through it, and to get through each floor, like you have to go through the correct series of rooms to exit and whatnot. And there's also a time limit. So that's kind of the game's whole novelty. I don't know if I care for that game. I don't dislike it though. It's whatever. I would have preferred another one of these, I guess. Say that. Why? 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 Did he stop and decide to take a piss there? I don't know. Ow. Come on. Oh. What? I don't understand what's hurting me. It doesn't seem fair. I crouch attack here because I don't want to waste the limited ammo that the shotgun has. Sometimes you gotta use it though. If these searchlights hit you, you get pulled to a different, shittier level. There's a lot of branching path stuff in this game, which the next level's full of. It's just easier. And here's how you carry both shotguns. I used every shell. This is a fun gimmick. You can probably even see what's coming, even if you've never seen this before. Come on, you bastard. Let's do this. This one? There's probably one more. Did pretty well against him. Is there one more even? Well, shit. Nope. The golden butcher knife. There we go. I think this is actually a level that has quite a few branching paths, depending on... Most of them do, though. Most of them have at least one or two things where things can get different. Some of them have like 4 or 5 different areas where you can end up on a different path. I think there's only like 6 or 7 levels total, but I think this is one of the more complex ones where it has a few different branching areas and quite a few different screens overall. Oh. I did poorly on that. All around, very poorly. I believe that's the best outcome there. But I don't know. I'm fucking terrible at this. Who knows? These holes lead to different areas too. Oh, more of this shit. Come on, buddy, let's party. Oh, man. That was a short party. Not good. Don't want to take multiple hits off these dudes, but I don't really have room for that. This fight is insanely hard. That's what I do remember. I'm pretty sure if I continue, it just starts me from the beginning of the level in the library again. I have to do the whole damn thing on the same number of lives. So, you know, that doesn't bode well. What a fucking dick. Yep, library. Very beginning. Just like I said. Also appears that I'm barefoot, which seems like a poor choice for this kind of work. At least I get 2 stabs at it, in addition to my initial joke appearance. Why don't you try to stab me first and then I counterattack? Let's try that. Okay, that worked. Good job. Can that be ducked, though? This is the experimental learn how it works round. Nope, it cannot be ducked. It's a nightmare. Nope, not even close. I need to bring the thunder. I think that's really good. I'm gonna go like a real, like balls out, like no. No attempt at self-preservation strategy here. It's not working at all. Like, worth a shit. That was much worse attempt than before. This boss fight might cause me to lose interest in this game faster than the other ones. Let's see what pile of shit awaits down here. Oh, this is that guy that like resurrects the skeletons. Yeah, this is awful. Skeleton lizard mini boss. Oh man. I think you actually might want to drop in the hole when you're down there. Might be the better path than this. If that happened to you, then maybe you can avoid some of this, which sucks. Very rare voice sample on the Turbografx. I think the slide attacks might do more damage and are probably worth trying to do. Should probably be starting up with a slide attack every time. feel like I almost pulled it off. It's funny, I don't think the last level is as hard as this one. Let's see if this is the better or worse way. I don't remember. It's probably the worst way. You know what? I'm starting to realize that falling down and dealing with the wizard's not so bad if you know how to deal with the wizard. It's really not. It's not a big deal. And then dealing with the maggots really isn't that bad, and it gets you out of the fights with your mirror images, which is not great. Like, the fights with the mirror images are not a great thing. I'm starting to think maybe I'm doing this level wrong from the beginning, in other words. Oh shit, I did that badly. That's alright though, because we knew that that wasn't going to happen. Let's see how this goes. Three times? Are you shitting me? She does it 3 times. Please be the end. Oh, thank God. Whew. That's a hell of a fight, isn't it? There might be 7 stages in this now that I think about it. Either that or just a huge change of scenery before the last boss for some other reason. Let's see if I can even make it anywhere. All 3 of these games today I'd rate a 7, even though this is probably the best of the 3. And Vigilante is probably the worst of the 3. Vigilante is a pretty low 7. I think there's just a little bit extra joy that can be squeezed out of it, wrung out of it through trying to 1cc and sort of time attack for score kind of approach to the game. But even that's going to be mastered after not too long. It's not hard enough. But it's still got some good fun in there, and it's a good looking and sounding game. Altered Beast is almost a perfect 7. It's just a great arcade port of a simple and short and fun game with a good challenge. And then this game is a great challenge and has a little bit more levels and stuff. Really close to being an 8, but it's not quite a beefy enough game to be that. I'd say about the same about this game's sequel as well on the Genesis. It's a good game. It's definitely a solid gaming experience. This level's boring as shit and hard, by the way. Boring, hard, doesn't seem to have any checkpoints, goes on forever. This level's just a long, boring-ass turd, isn't it? You just gotta do it all at once. No real way around it. Fucking shit. What a piece of shit that is. Man, that's so annoying. I'm gonna have to be smarter about it this time, though. You gotta do the whole damn thing, and it's so long and boring. I guess it's not that boring. I mean, you have to attack at every height. So it's the true test of skill, you know. Attack and defend things from every angle. This isn't good. God damn it. I never have any fucking health by the time I get to the end because the level is too fucking hard. It's too hard for me. The boss is super stupid easy, but it has like 1,000,000 health, and it's really the continuation of the level, these fucking bubbles, that makes the boss hard. That's all the only thing that's going on. It's the same shit that's been fucking ruining my time the whole level. Same fucking crap. Never gets any better. never do any better on it. It's just too hard to walk all of them. There's too many of them. I'm like, that one's going to hit me, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. There's not a single direction or move or maneuver that this simple character can do that's going to stop that from happening now. Just have to watch it go down. And then they decided to do a gimme, so okay, I'll take it. I think I'm out of credits though, so they're making this dramatically difficult, right? Yeah, there's like burning logs you have to jump over and stuff. I remember this now. Like you defeat the evil core of the house, like I just did, because it's like its own living thing, and then you have to bail out of it while it's burning. That's unfortunate. Oh shit. Just gotta avoid the rocks then mostly, right? And the hands, which do this. Ah shit, the rocks though, they're so hard to avoid. Oh, do I have even one credit? Do I? I don't think I do. I think I burned them all up on that piece of shit last level. Oh, that hurts like a son of a bitch. You know what? I'm not going to do it again right now, though. We'll save beating Splatterhouse for another time. I believe that you all believe that I can beat Splatterhouse because I got to the very end. But disappointingly, I'm not going to have time to. I mean, I may have time to finish it off now, but I want to charge my headset. And I'm probably going to do some other stuff. I got some cobbler I got to eat. Good game, though. These are all really fun games. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. There will be more classic action games and modern action games coming up soon. So stick around for that. Have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Hanukkah, whatever's going on in your life. Thanks for checking out some games.